Welcome back, Troglodytes, to another episode of Trogly's Guitar. Today we have a visitor from another guitar store called Indie String Theory. They don't deal in Gibsons too much, especially not these older ones, but they got this one in. And they've been seeing my videos, and they asked me to do one of my famous video tours and demos of their guitar to help them sell it. So this is a beautiful Les Paul Standard from 1978. It is from the Norland era, and this thing has a boatload of stuff to go over. This is kind of a beaten and abused example, but still a great player for someone out there that doesn't have the budget for an all-original straight example. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at this guitar. The face of the headstock is in a pretty worn condition. You can see when I get it in the light here, there's a lot of vertical checking up and down, pretty much over the entire face of the headstock. It's not necessarily brittle or falling off or anything, but you can see some of it has chipped around the Gibson logo there. But overall, it looks pretty good. It appears that this truss rod cover has been replaced. That looks kind of more like a 90s and or semi-modern truss rod cover. However, the nut does appear to be original and in good shape, and the frets are surprisingly in good shape for the amount of players wear on this guitar. It looks to me like they were leveled and recrowned not too long ago, as there is only very minimal fret wear. And the frets are actually fairly tall yet, so you definitely have a couple levels and recrowns left in them. The body of the guitar is the natural finish, and it is original. And what I really like about this guitar is the two wings on the side of the body. It's a three-piece top. The two outside wings have some really nice flame and quilting action in it. You just look at that. I like it. It's looking great. And this side as well. Not quite as extreme, but it is there. And this middle piece also has some action going on with it too, but not, quite as, detailed as this piece. I love this piece. But what's wrong with this guitar? What makes this one so cheap? Everything has been replaced on this guitar. Don't expect a single part of this to be original, except for maybe the back plates. The pickups have been swapped out to Porter Classic humbuckers. These humbuckers are around $250 new. I mean, they're nothing to sneeze at, but they're also not T-tops. But I can tell you, they do sound pretty good. The rings were also swapped out. Now under here, the part that the screw goes into was stripped or broke somehow, and they had to put a new piece of wood in there for that to screw down. I mean, it's a non-issue. This isn't a routed deluxe or anything, but it is what it is. At one point in time, there was a Synth Midi pickup put on this guitar, and basically what that thing does is it'll sit right here in between the bridge and bridge pickup, and it kind of gives you some acoustic-y sounds on it. I had one on my own personal US-1 that I sold a while ago, but you do have two holes in the top, one right there that's kind of hard to see, and one right there where that was originally mounted and then later taken off. It appears that a ground wire has also been added. It kind of runs from under this channel right here and it wraps around the bridge to give it a proper grounding. A TB6 tailpiece has been added on. It looks era correct. The bottom part of it has kind of been shimmed down a little bit for some reason, but it does function just fine. All of the knobs here have been replaced. You have an added switch here that you can wire up for whatever you want. Brand new pickguard, still has the plastic on it. You can see it's kind of peeling up here that you could easily take off. Basically, everything has been replaced on this guitar. But we already know that, so let's kind of take a look at the condition here. You can see there are numerous nicks, dings, scratches, impressions. This was somebody's baby, their main player, and that's for sure. And you can definitely see that in all of this wear and tear. I mean, it wasn't a babied guitar, it's definitely been on the road. So as far as condition, besides those two main holes, I would say there's some impressions in that area right there that you're kind of seeing, and mainly these dings as far as the top goes. I mean, it's not trash by any means. It is a beautiful guitar, but it definitely has a lot wrong with it, and we haven't even gotten started yet. Back of the headstock, serial number 73398524. this thing has had a plethora of tuners on it. It looks like it originally started with kind of a Clouson styled Gibson tuner. I don't know if you guys have seen some of those. They have the two mounting screw holes there. And then it looks like somebody wanted the Schallers of the era. And according to Indy, they had installed these upside down. And that's why those are there, the extra hole. So they filled those in and installed them correctly. Now these are not the Gibson branded Schallers, they are replacements, but they are, you know, semi-era correct, made in West Germany Schallers. So very cool there. Now you do have a lot of finish checking. It's kind of hard to see, but hopefully that's kind of starting to show up. Very vertical finish checking, similar to the face of the headstock. You've got a beautiful three-piece maple neck, and you have some finish checking in this area, but no cracks or repairs at this point. There is a crack right here. I'll probably have to get you some photos. It definitely is in the wood. However, it's kind of one of those cracks that you can't really repair until it cracks and breaks more. So definitely be aware you might have to get a repair on this at some point in time. The rest of the neck, really, it's not in bad shape. You do have the finish worn off the side here a little bit, which just shows you it's a really good player. But no major nicks or dings. I think the worst of it is kind of a little bit of an impression right there. But playing this guitar, it actually plays really well. On to the back of the guitar here. It is definitely a worn example. The back is pretty trashed, I'll be honest there. You've got really deep gouges and dings, but it is what it is. Wear your biggest belt buckle while playing this one, because quite frankly it doesn't matter at this point. I mean, there's some through the finish wear, some, you know, worming, rash, just everything. I believe from what Indy said, one of the pots were replaced, the other ones might be original. I didn't actually open this guitar up and look because there are other issues that I need to point out. You do have that crack up here. That's kind of, you know, a non-issue that might come back to haunt you. So definitely, you know, put away $200 in the case just in case you need to get that glued. But this thing has kind of been abused. There is a crack in the heel area right here on the body that appears to have maybe been repaired before. It starts here, goes down, and kind of goes woo, and then it goes from the body straight down there. It definitely looks like somebody had to have glued that at one point in time. It's solid, the neck's straight, it plays well, but definitely know that that's there. Not only was it damaged here, but it was also damaged at the lower bout right here. You can see the crack kind of starts right here. It looks like maybe just scratches, but that's definitely a crack there. It starts from here, goes up, and then it goes straight across here. You can kind of see that. It goes all the way through and kind of ends out here, and then ends there. So I'm not sure if this area of wear underneath the pickguard is related to that or not. You can kind of see it there. But at one point in time, there's definitely a good sized crack in this guitar. And I believe that one's been repaired as well. You've also got some pretty good deep scratches in it as well. So it's kind of a beaten, abused, repaired in every place that you wouldn't think a Les Paul would ever be repaired at. Usually it's that smile headstock break, but this is one solid guitar. It's been through a lot and it still plays really well. It has, I think these are Dunlop strap buttons, I'm not 100% sure on that right now. But lots of nicks and dings. Don't buy this guitar from them thinking, you know, it's a straight example. Pretty much everything has been replaced. And honestly, it's a pretty good player. Another thing to note on this one is there is a spot of replaced binding right here. I'm not sure if this front part was replaced or not, but definitely that was grafted back on. So the neck must have got damaged during that heel break. A guitar like this is why I own a black light. A lot of what I found came as a surprise to Indy, but luckily they found it out from me and not a potential buyer. So you can see the headstock there got a pretty good ding, and it kind of looks like it melted it down, but just kind of smashed it down a little bit. But there you can kind of see that finish checking I was talking about a lot better. And the most likely replaced truss rod cover. Got some dings there as well. We'll look at the front of the body here. It's not too bad, but there you can definitely see those synth hole pickups a little bit better. And right there, what kind of looks like a crack running up and down there is kind of just where the third piece of the body was seamed together. So I don't believe that's necessarily a crack, but it could definitely possibly be. You've got some nice light nicks and dings pretty well everywhere on this top. But that's what I like about this guitar, is the top is still fairly clean. I mean, you do have some wear and tear here. Not quite sure what that's all about. But there's no like extra routing underneath there or anything. But lots of wear and tear. Back at the headstock, once again, the replaced tuners multiple times. And here's where you can kind of see that crack a little bit better. You see that line stemming from the nut. That's a very common shipping damage area. Sometimes they don't go all the way through the finish. I've never had a guitar, that breaks like that, need immediate attention, but I always do forewarn you might need to invest a couple $100 to get that glued, if it ever does get worse. Here you can see the finish wear on the side of the neck and a bunch of dings and whatnot. Now, when it got damaged at the heel, I'm guessing the neck was probably taken out, maybe reseated back in. I mean, that's a pretty hefty crack. And I say that it might have came out because the finish is definitely disturbed in that area. So just know that this definitely had a repair of some sorts there. But it is a solid playing guitar. I mean, I'm not going to knock this guitar. I mean, it's a good playing guitar, but it's definitely been repaired multiple times. And I mean, you guys can see all the wear here. This is a beaten player. Tons of finish wear. Take a look at the sides here a little bit more as well. And there's that other break area we were talking about earlier. I'll just kind of... I don't know if that part of the body came off at one point in time. I don't think so, because you don't see evidence of it on the front though. But overall, I mean, it's a player's guitar. This one weighs 10 pounds, 1.5 ounces, and has a pretty nice 60s profile neck on it. In lieu of a case, unfortunately, this one only has a lowly gig bag, but yeah, it keeps the dust off of it, I guess. I would definitely suggest upgrading to a hard shell case, especially for such a traumatized Les Paul. We will be demoing today through a Gibson GA30 Super Gold Tone for the cleans and a Marshall JMP 1C for the distorted. If you think you might be interested in owning this Les Paul, feel free to contact Indie Music Theory, and I'm sure they will be happy to help you. If you would like your own instrument featured on my channel, feel free to contact me and we can definitely work something out. A well-documented listing definitely will bring you more money for your guitar. So if you're not really wanting to do a consignment deal, but you just want a video tour made, I'm your man.